Please do. Have a seat. Good morning, Arvind.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
So, you have come today,
Yes.
or you were in Delhi only?
Sir, I'm present in Delhi.
So, Arvind, tell us about yourself in brief, about what your background, what you have done, what are your hobbies, that kind of things.
Sir, my name is Arvind Hanglem. I was born and brought up in Manipur, Imphal West district, where I did my schooling till 12th standard. Then I pursued my graduation in physics from Delhi University. And I am also a very physically active person. I ran marathon. I participate in state level events, sport activities, and I also love interacting with youth, which I did in book club Imphal, led by an IAS officer in Manipur.
And you are Indian Forest Service, you have cleared? No, you were just appeared at the examination.
Yes, sir, I just appeared.
Okay. Good. Arvind, I just want a few things. Of course, you are not qualified Indian Forest Service, but you have appeared for that Indian Forest Service. You have
Yes,
you have
sir, I have
interest about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I have some interest in forest service also.
Okay, great. So, can you tell me about this? What's happening in Joshimath? Must have read about this reports coming out about that in the last 12 days only.
Yes,
There
sir.
was a slide. What happened actually there?
Sir, this first of all, sir, it's a very tragic and unfortunate incident of the country. Joshimath incident sliding by nearly 5 centimeter Delhi, as reported by the ISRO studies, and also the NGT panel has issued several guidelines in the yesterday's newspaper. So land subsidence, firstly, and secondly, because of that land subsidence, massive displacement of the people living there. And thirdly, sir, in today's newspaper, I read that the several pets, dogs and cats are also straying and wandering around the streets. So this is a massive disaster for India, and we should not take it in a light manner.
But this happens. This concept of this one. If too much of development will be there, there will be something will happen to environment.
Yes, sir.
By
I agree.
nature. That is there. If you build the road, there will be some problem over there. So, why do you? What is your view that whether the development should not take place there?
Sir,
Road should not be there. They are also entitled for meant for a developed kind of life, good quality of life.
Yes, sir. Sir, we need a balanced development in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. And to ensure that India also, our Prime Minister has pledged that by 2047 we are going to be a developed nation, the Amrit Kal, as we say. So in line with that, we need to ensure that there is a balance between the needs of the environment, the needs of the people, and also the need of the nation. Economic growth has to balance with development. And thirdly, sir, we must ensure that the development must reach all the people living in all the remote parts of the country. So, sir, can I give a personal example in this with your permission?
Sure.
Sir, since I come from Manipur, and from my personal observation, I've seen the several ground realities, the different stark realities between Manipur and when I come to Delhi, the level of the education, housing, the bare necessities. So I think that in Manipur there are also development taking place, but that development is also unequally distributed. So yes, environment development should go in hand. So we need proper EIA, environmental impact assessment, and also recommendations of the expert committee. As in the case of Joshimath, there were findings by the Mishra committee back in the 1970s, and that was unfortunately not taken into much consideration.
But don't you think all these committees they would like to just side with the environment because they are not staying there. They are not worried about the livelihoods over there. Do you want that these people should just remain like taking some kind of wood, cutting wood, and they should not enjoy modern life?
Sorry, sir, I beg to differ on that. The development should reach the people, it should benefit the people, and therefore, consideration of the opinions of all stakeholders is a crucial step that we require in such juncture.
Just taking this example further, today we talk about ozone layer and so much of global warming, but primarily all this emission of carbon dioxide or green those gases, they have been because of the developed countries.
Yes, sir.
Their contribution is more.
Yes, sir.
And now they are saying that no, because the environment is everywhere. So how do you think now developing countries asking that we are also have a right to develop?
Yes, sir.
You have done, and there is now ozone hole and those kind of warming is there. So they should finance. What is your view on that?
Sir, regarding that, there is the principle of the CBDCR, common but differential responsibilities. And secondly, sir, developed countries cannot blame the developing nations, because if we compare the per capita emissions of India and the developing nations with that of the developed nations, it's very less. For example, there was a report by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and it says that the per capita emissions of India, it's much lower than the world average. And thirdly, sir, if we compare the GDP per capita and also the level of technology that between the developed and the developing nations, there is huge amount of inequality. There is carbon inequality also. And lastly, sir, as India and the other countries like South Africa and the island nations have also pledged in the recent summit in the Sharm el-Sheikh Egypt declaration, we says that the developed nations should pledge their responsibilities via funding of under the Green Climate Fund, and that has not been done in that regard.
Same take this advantage in case of within India also. Places like Northeast, places like Himachal Pradesh, places like Uttarakhand, where a lot of environment concerns are there, they would also say that somebody else should fund the development over there so that they are able to get income. Otherwise, they will remain poorer.
Sir, regarding that, first thing, difference of opinions will arise because that is the beauty of our country, democracy. And secondly, sir, as in India, we are already doing that because there are Niti Aayog indices report. I read previously the report on the Sustainable Development Index for Northeastern released by Niti Aayog, and it focuses on localization of sustainable development goals, and they are trying to take into the concerns of the local, and therefore separate kind of funding mechanism is being envisaged. For example, sir, in case of northeastern states, the funding pattern is 90:10 ratio. So we are doing that in that regard, in terms of funding, in terms of ensuring basic necessities, etc.
Thank you.
So you have been in Delhi for a while now?
Yes, ma'am.
Your optional subject is Manipuri literature.
Yes, ma'am.
In what script did you write?
Presently, ma'am, it is written in Bengali script.
You wrote in Bengali script?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
thought it was the language already. You young people like you are learning the new script, no?
Ma'am, actually, during the 71st Amendment Act 1992, and when it was included under the 8th schedule, it was included as Manipuri language in Bengali script because of the
Okay.
historical connections.
Okay. So was it difficult to learn it in a different... so when you were doing your schooling, in what script did you learn Manipuri?
In Bengali script.
In Bengali only?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So if I were to visit Imphal, what would you recommend me to see in Imphal, in and around Imphal, in terms of tourism?
Ma'am, as per my observation, and first thing I would suggest to visit the e-market hill, the women's market, which is the largest women market in Asia, run by women only, and that predicts a glimpse of the status of the Manipuri woman in the Manipuri woman. And secondly, the Kangla Fort. It's also a place of the tourism now. The government is also promoting that by partnering with several organizations. And thirdly, the Loktak Lake, obviously, famous for Fumdis and floating vegetation, and the Sangai, Bro, and Tuladia. These three would be my priorities.
What about the Govind?
Yes, ma'am, obviously. Sri Govindaji
Sri
temple,
Govindaji
it cannot be
temple.
ignored.
So explain a little bit about the Manipuri religion. You know, people practice two streams of, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, ma'am.
What is it?
Presently, ma'am, Manipuri in the 4 valley districts follow the Vaishnavism. It's unique, as you said, ma'am, because we can see the fusion of the local elements and as well as the Vaishnavism elements. So, and secondly, ma'am, during the Holi festival, it's for 5 days in Manipur. And so during that, there is the Manipuri Raslila, the classical dance. So it's a part of the Vaishnavism culture. And thirdly, ma'am, a free feast is also being organized at the end of the event.
Okay. So tell me, you were talking about development and development of Manipur. You know, government has a very major policy called Act East, and Manipur shares border with some of our neighbors. So has Northeast really benefited from the Act East policy, and has Manipur in particular benefited?
Yes, ma'am. I think it has benefited. Firstly, on the basis of the empirical data released by the State's Economic Survey, and secondly, on the basis of my personal observation. And firstly, on the also Niti Aayog says that the Act East policy has facilitated in the development of the More town. And More town is the border town of Manipur and Myanmar. So a lot of trade and economic hubs are being undertaken, benefiting the local people in terms of employment generation and even in the improvement of human development parameters, as the Niti Aayog says. And secondly, as per my personal observation, there is upgradation of national highways, and also the Indo-Myanmar Thailand trilateral highway is also being undertaken.
What about the Kaladan multimodal transport?
Yes, ma'am, Kaladan also.
What and what will it connect?
Sorry, ma'am, I'm not aware.
Kaladan will connect what with what? Which are the 2 points?
Sorry, ma'am, I need to look into that.
Okay. So tell me, but More has been closed during COVID period, no? More Tamu border, was it closed?
Yes, ma'am,
So
it was
has
closed.
it impacted people?
Yes, ma'am, it has impacted in terms of because of the closure due to COVID-19. It has impacted the free movement regime that India has with Myanmar, and so obviously it impacted the local trade.
But it's always, local trade, the official trade has stopped, but is unofficial trade, as people say, is it going on? Does it have any harmful impact?
Ma'am, I don't have the empirical data on that, but I think it must be, as per my understanding, I think unofficial trade must be on practice.
Do you know what is BIMSTEC?
Yes, ma'am.
What is
BIMSTEC
BIMSTEC?
stands for Bay of Bengal Multi-Sectoral and Economic Cooperation Agreement, and Government of India believes that it will link Southeast Asia and South Asia, and we are also focusing on the BIMSTEC as of now.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I'm sure you're keeping aware of the latest developments happening around.
Yes, sir.
Have you taken note of a breaking news involving a very tragic case yesterday?
Sir, I read in today's newspaper regarding 4 Indians unfortunately died in the Nepal airplane crash.
What about the other 68?
Yeah, 68.
So 72 died.
72 people died,
So
and
we
4
can't
of
be
them were
sorry
Indians.
only about the 4. Right. And did you take, there is a report also saying that the airport was built with the assistance of China.
Yes, sir.
Do you read anything in between the lines that the airport, generally about the China's assistance to the developing world?
in the larger context. Do you have any opinion about it?
Sir, I read that it was financed, the airport was inaugurated few days back by the recent new Prime Minister of Nepal, and that airport was built under the assistance of China's BRI, Belt and Road Initiative project, through a soft loan agreement with Nepal.
So while this BRI or the policy to finance these projects under the BRI by China is leading to something which is called debt trap.
Yes, sir.
So can you have some views about debt trap? Is it real, myths, or anti-China propaganda?
Sir,
Any specific examples do you have in mind? Any country in our neighborhood which may have suffered the most from China's this debt trap policy?
Sir, as per my awareness, it was Sri Lanka's economic crisis.
Right.
Yes. So China is financing through soft loan agreements in certain projects, and when the particular nation, when the debtor nation fails to repay that amount of loan, so China tries to take over that project or as a real estate, and so it's kind of a political interference. So to your question, whether that is anti-China, I don't think that is because it's real, sir.
It's real.
Yeah.
What is the specific, in principle problem or in principle opposition to BRI from India? Why India is opposing it? And India is giving a principled position while opposing BRI. What is our argument against it?
Sir, India opposes the CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor.
No, in general, yes. Okay, carry on.
So, because it impacts our territorial integrity and sovereignty as it passes our Jammu and Kashmir region, which is an integral part of India. And secondly, sir, that the kind of projects that are being undertaken by China, that somehow impacts the future and the long-term interests of each and every nation. So as part of their aggressive policy, as we can see in the recent Yangtze region also, so China is trying to do that in terms of their economic might, because their GDP is given the size of the China's GDP.
Okay, I think time is a constraint.
Thank you, sir.
We'll go on.
Arvind.
Interesting.
I just saw that you have given your preference for your home cadre,
Yes, ma'am.
for your home state, that
Yes,
is Manipur.
Yes.
Why is that?
Ma'am, I would be happy to serve in any part of the country, but since I was given a choice, I chose Manipur cadre, and also my second preference, I have chosen Karnataka to explore the South Indian region.
Okay, so two very widely different
Yes, ma'am.
kind of areas. Okay, let's say you do get your home cadre and you get the service where you can get your home cadre. What would be your focus? You were talking about sustainable development and other things, but what would be your focus? What would be your priority if you get your first posting there? What would you focus on?
Ma'am, if I am posted there, my first priority would be obviously identification of the issues by looking through government reports and all of the ongoing schemes, programs that are being undertaken in that particular region. And second priority would be taking actions via coordination and collaboration with the departments. And obviously,
But you must have, if you get Manipur, by now you must be aware of these,
yes,
identifying these areas. Have you identified any?
yes, ma'am. I have. Okay.
Specific, yeah.
Yeah. So my first priority would be, ma'am, quality education and skilling programs, because Manipur has a high literacy rate of 76%, higher than the national average, but the employment rate is nearly 44% as per the economic survey 2020-21. Second would be safety and security of women.
Okay.
And thirdly, also the drug incidents, because of the state's geographical proximity with the Golden Triangle. And the state government as of now is also focusing on war on drugs campaign. And just the day before yesterday, the government of Manipur has also procured several drones in partnership with central government to eradicate poppy plantation in the border areas of Manipur. So my top 3 priorities would be on these 3 areas.
So, okay, quality education, fair enough. And you are saying, but then people have the rate of literacy is high, but then employment rate is not so high.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what about the lack of opportunities? Do people migrate a lot out of Manipur in search of jobs? And how would you create those jobs? What would you do
Yes.
to help,
ma'am.
local job opportunity, create local job opportunities?
Ma'am, I don't have the data on migration, but I read a local newspaper and says that a large number of youths migrate to other cities, of which I am also an example, firstly.
Okay.
And secondly, regarding creation of opportunities for jobs, therefore we have to focus on scaling, vocational training, and also infrastructure creation.
Okay.
Infrastructure
Because
creation.
once they're skilled, they need to have an opportunity to
Yes,
use
ma'am.
their skills also, or for self-employment.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
those opportunities need to be there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. All right. And say you get posted to Karnataka, your second choice, what would be your focus? I mean, have you read up on Karnataka? Why Karnataka?
Ma'am, to be very honest, I also have this literature background, and secondly, my mother has also roamed the entire India,
Okay.
and she talked about different cultures. So I wanted to expose myself to the diverse culture of India, and that would be really a gratitude for me to serve and connect to people at the ground level from diverse people.
Okay. Okay, let me, change the topic a bit. You've heard about a river cruise recently? River cruises.
A river cruise, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes.
Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yes, ma'am. The day before yesterday, our Honorable Prime Minister launched the river cruise. It's a luxury cruise from Varanasi, from UP to Dibrugarh in Assam. So it will.
So how do you think? I mean, are you? How do you think? What will be the positive impacts and the negative? Would there be any negative impact also? And if so, then what do you think? What are your concerns? Do you have any concerns?
Ma'am, as you said regarding positive, I think it will. That is something to be proud of. Connecting people via these waterways, and also create spillover effects on employment generation. Tourism industry in Guwahati will bloom in Assam region, and also the northeastern people. A sense of connectivity will be there, emotional integration between the mainland and the northeastern people.
Nice.
And regarding concerns, ma'am, I think it has to pass the Bangladesh, and secondly, there is lack of river interlinking in India, and the depth of the river is not much. Thirdly, ma'am, non-perennial nature of the rivers, and given the climate change, and I think this can
Would
be
there be any environmental wildlife concerns?
Yes, ma'am. Obviously, wildlife concerns will be there. It can impact the aquatic species also, and with boost in tourism, it can also create negative impact on the wildlife in the vicinity of the river ecosystem.
Last quick question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank
So
you.
you mentioned that you want to go to Karnataka and join Karnataka, and you also said that you are very much interested in literature.
Yes.
Right. So there is a dynasty in Karnataka who has contributed a lot in literature. That's Vijayanagar, right?
Yes.
So what's the contribution of Vijayanagar in literature?
Sir, I have a little bit knowledge on the literature of the Vijayanagara kingdom, but as per my understanding, he was a very prominent scholar in 3 languages: Sanskrit literature, Kannada literature, and he was also called as the Andhra Bhoja. I have to brush up on this.
You're talking about which king?
Krishna Deva Raya.
Krishna Deva Raya. So yeah, during Krishna Deva Raya there were Ashtadiggaj, right? The contribution is in Telugu, not in Kannada actually.
Okay, sorry.
The dynasty is in Karnataka.
Sorry, sir. I have to brush a full.
I think that is all from my side.
Thank you so much. Now your interview is over, Arvind.
Thank you, sir.
Tell me, how did you feel about the interview? How you feel that you have fared in the interview? What was your performance?
I'm not very sure because this is my first mock interview also, and I think I should brush up a little bit on my background and.
Arvind, as far as we are concerned, my impression, and they will also give the feedback, you have performed excellently. You could reply, you have gone to the depth, even for the environment thing also, and your performance was very good, your delivery was very good, and you were able to convey your thoughts. So I have not much except you're just shy, you can just
Okay,
make
sir.
better, that's fine, and that's all. Otherwise, I will seek any background, any feedback from you. Yeah,
You're
please
very
do.
good.
One by one, yeah.
You're very good. Just make your replies a little sharper.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
wanted
that's-
to
You
say.
do,
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
because you also have to correct a little monotonous way of speaking. So
Okay,
bring a little modulation of voice
Okay.
and give sharper, shorter replies.
Okay.
Your replies are sometimes very long. If you have 5 things in mind, just give 3 and be done with it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
I'll
just
keep
because it's a check of personality.
Okay.
So I thought that was one thing you could work on. Yeah, short reply, and maybe you were very good in expressing your opinion. You made it very clear that you were giving your opinion, but you need not do it so many times.
Okay, ma'am.
I don't know what you felt. I mean, in my opinion, you said.
You
quite
don't
a
have to
few
say
times.
that. Of course, you are.
If
but
I
you are
may,
saying that, yeah.
you can say if I may.
That's right. Yeah.
But otherwise, your subject-wise, you're very good.
When you speak, it is your opinion.
Yes, sir.
Nobody else will
Exactly,
take ownership
exactly.
of that opinion.
But
Actually,
would
sir,
say
I
a
was
little
suggested by-
generalities से थोड़ा सा हटके he can be a little more focus you can bring into your replies, Like when you say sustainable development, it's very general. So you can, come down to
Specific.
something specific.
Sharper.
You can think about it. You can prepare now.
Okay.
Like Karnataka also and Manipur also. You can prepare that, okay, what is it that I'm going to do, I'll identify problems, but you're already there. You should know those problems,
Okay, ma'am.
right? So why would you identify, right? I would expect you to know those problems.
Okay, ma'am.
That I thought, that you
Anything you want to say?
yeah.
The last point, you use a word obviously very frequently, and when you say obviously, it means the question was not up to the mark, or basically it was obvious, right? I mean, you need not to tell. So you should not use this word obviously in the interview. Otherwise, it seems like that question was in vain. It was obvious. You should not ask. It's that kind of reply. So do not use this word obvious.
So what can be the alternative?
You can just go.
You don't have to say obvious. Even if that question
Obviously.
may not be that. Like,
Obviously, you don't have to say obviously.
because that is like.
It may be like a Satya
Yeah.
So I will just nod my head then.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Just
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that
Just
kind of
jump
thing.
into
I
the
also
answer
get-
straight
yeah.
away.
Answer. There should be no भूमिका. हिंदी में बोलते हैं
In
ना,
my
भूमिका मत
opinion,
बांधो
obviously, कोई जरूरत नहीं है.
ज़्यादा लंबी भूमिका बांधने की जरूरत नहीं.
Yeah,
Don't-
yeah.
There's no introduction to be given that
Yeah.
I think, I led.
Jump
Specific,
into the
jump
answer.
into
What you
1,
know.
2, 3, 4, crisp.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the board sits throughout the day.
Once or
most
twice
of the
is
time.
once is fine, but because you are saying repeatedly, either obviously or in my view, I think you must have been told that to say that in my view, or you have
Yes,
to
sir.
say
I
that.
had
Huh?
few one-to-one sessions, and
You can always say
Don't,
when
yeah,
you have
don't
a
say
different-
anything. Once in a while is fine, but if you are making it that somebody told you to say this, don't, because that attracts panelists that you have been trained.
okay.
You don't have to do that.
You can say, if I may, sir.
And maybe, sir, if you have a different point of view, you can always say, I beg to differ.
Yeah,
That's
that you did.
acceptable.
Yeah,
I
he
think that
did.
is
Yeah,
acceptable.
he did.
That is acceptable.
Very good.
Otherwise,
Yeah, but
your
I
performance
also
is the
felt
first
like-
time. It's
yeah,
very
yeah,
good, I would
yeah,
say.
yeah.
But
and your answers
Excellent.
are balanced
Yeah.
and favoring what should be done, kind of
Delivery
thing.
was
Women,
good, yeah.
those, and Manipur society is famous for that. Women literature, and that market is very good. It's a very old market. And the whole background is there about that women's market is there. It's
Yeah, it is.
empowerment,
Another
and there-
question
men are
probably-
not supposed to be there.
They can't.
very good.
No,
have a
they
shop.
cannot. By municipal laws, they cannot sell anything there.
Okay.
And married women.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
something to
sir,
support. It was something to support people, men who have gone to the army.
One more thing, because people can ask you that question, is you said that your educational background is different to your subject of choice for the civil
Yes, ma'am.
services. They can ask you something
Yes,
on
ma'am.
that, and then you should be very clear as to why you kind of opted to write the paper in Manipuri literature rather than your core subjects for which you studied.
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever you can think about it.
That in any case you have to do, Arvind, whatever your depth 1, depth 2, whatever has been written there, whatever your hobbies are there, that you have to prepare all the questions. When is your interview?
So dates are not out. Phase
Very
2.
good. So you have enough time.
Yes.
So just prepare different questions. I think you have done it. And
But yeah, like
whatever
his
you
body
mentioned that
language
there can be
and
leading question to
delivery.
that.
He's
Like Karnataka, you say Karnataka, but then study about the Karnataka then
Yes.
also.
Yeah.
Because your choices. That's how this question has come up.
if you allow me, sir, I'll just
Sure.
reiterate the observation I made during your first reply. In the context of Vasudeva Kutumbakam that we are promoting.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned only about Indians, 5 Indians.
Yeah,
died,
that
and
should
you're
not be,
sorry
yeah.
about the 5 Indians. It
Unfortunate
immediately
accident.
gives an impression of, you're being very selective, or you have absolutely no concern for the other 68 or 70 people who died. I don't know how it came or.
So it actually
how-
it was
how
slip
yeah.
of tongue also.
Yes, it's a slip of tongue.
So just be
Yeah.
careful because it ends up giving. At least I got a.
Yes, sir. I
It
understand.
didn't give me a. It was the beginning of the.
Yes, sir. I
interview.
understand.
But let's still.
And whenever you is a slip of tongue or you made a mistake, you knew then and then only. You just say sorry. You can always
Yeah.
there also then and there itself you can correct yourself
Yeah.
rather than ho gaya kind of thing. Huh?
Yes, sir.
That is one. Another, don't use those kind of words. I think you used, what was that? Something, current top, or like, he did use Amrit Kal, but he used some other word.
Amrit Kal.
Amrit
You use Amrit Kal or
Amrit
something?
Kal.
Please
Amrit
don't
Kal.
use that.
Amrit Kal,
These
yeah.
are- These are very political kind of words. These are
Overtones.
not overtones.
Political overtones.
Clear.
Okay, sir.
Whatever has been there, based on facts, that should be there.
Okay, sir.
But did someone tell you to use Amrit?
This
Kal?
is Amrit.
Don't.
Actually, I attended a session and he was
Yeah,
the
I
former
think, yeah,
ambassador and
probably,
he
yeah.
said, so I thought.
Yeah.
No, I think panelists are not from that side. Generally,
Also
all of
former
our retired
ambassador
people
of
only.
Bhutan.
And mostly they are retired ones. They are not the ones who have joined the service. So these words are generally carry that
अभी
without
अमृत
really thinking it through.
अभी अमृत काल है तो पुराना विष काल थोड़ी था.
Whatever it is, but these are not all these kind of words. So you use the word Amrit Kal, no?
Yes.
I hear you.
Ah,
I had also noticed
Yeah.
that.
So those you should just avoid.
Yes, sir.
Be professional.
Yes,
All civil services all being professional.
yes, sir.
Go by the rules, side by the constitution rules. That is the important thing.
Yes, sir.
There are many controversial
Neutrality.
decisions will be there, many controversy will be there.
Yeah.
But what you have to side is by the rules, rule of law,
Yes, sir.
constitution. That is the kind of thing. So that is very important. And then in general towards the poor people and your action should be towards them. Any questions you want to?
Sir,
Yeah, you can ask.
no
if you-
question, but it was really a grateful experience coming from like it's also been a long journey for me, and to interact with honorable eminent persons like you, I think, and being judged by intellectual and honorable person, that was really something for me.
Oh, no, that you have earned everything, huh?
Yes, true.
You have earned everything. You have come to this this level. That's very good. It's your efforts that has gone into it.
Thank
so
you,
be bold and just prepare. You have still some time, so there's no problem. Good.
Believe in yourself. You're
Yeah.
be confident. You're good.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Prepare your Def 1, Def 2 and the current affairs. Read 4 or 5 newspapers daily. Reading like various questions.
और अगर
You
गलती
think
से
about it.
निकल
What do
भी
you
जाए
think about it? What will you
obviously
reply from the point of view
nervous
interview?
ना
Okay. Good.
Should become nervous just in case. Obviously, it does pop out of your mouth. Don't become nervous. Just
Don't.
get on
It
with
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
One or two words this way or that way doesn't matter. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
All the
Right.
best.
All the best.
Okay.